What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the build vlog. We are moving right along with this thing. It is really coming together. If you missed the last episode, we are nearing completion. We just have a few more little things to take care of in this video, and then I'm hoping, weather permitting, that we can get some primer on this thing. But we will see. We have to make some decisions in this one. We have everything locked on. Pretty much everything has been DevCon, so we've basically, I think, done all the DevConning that we need to do on this project, I'm hoping. Went through just under 5 tubes of DevCon, if you were wanting to know. But yeah, pretty happy with how this thing came out so far. And we have to do a few more cuts. We have to put a voltmeter in, so we need to make that cut and finish that up. I need to replace my switch for my LEDs, which I got this guy in the mail, and I like this switch. It's a nice switch, nice quality push button on off switch, but unfortunately it won't go where I meant to put it, so I already filled that in because it was going to be too long and interfere with this side. So if I went with this and not the other one for the voltmeter, basically you could do one or the other. You can't do both on both sides, at least with this switch, and it's really hard to find switches this small, but I think we can find another placement for this, and it would probably be better to keep everything on one side of the blaster anyway, so I'm thinking about putting it either here or underneath here, somewhere back here. Probably here. I feel like I'm going to like that better. I got some new Picatinny side rails. I was kind of 50-50 on whether I should add these or not, and I'm still trying to decide, and honestly it's going to come down to whether I can get things re-anodized or not in the color I need, which is this color. Because if this could be neon yellow, I think it would add a nice touch of color on the side, and it would be practical too, because I could use it for things. And it would add, especially on this side where it's kind of more plain, I think that would be a nice addition there. But if I can't get this re-anodized neon yellow, then I probably won't go with them. But I've reached out to a company here in town, and I'm waiting to hear back from them if it's possible, and get a quote and whatnot. Probably going with re-anodized instead of powder coating, because I think powder coating is just going to be way too expensive. And I think someone brought up this, and I was thinking about it too. It may be because it's going to add thickness to parts, and that could be an issue, at least for the trigger. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The one big thing, though, that's going to happen in this video is we really got to figure out what I'm doing with the LEDs here in the stock. And I think I've made a decision to keep the hole here in the negative space in the stock because I really like the look of that. I feel like if I cover it, it's going to just make the blaster really bulky, and I don't think I'm going to like the look of it, and I don't really have a good way to do what I really want easily and quickly, for that matter. But I do think it's going to look really cool if I can just light up the inside of this all the way around, and it's going to kind of coordinate with the theme that I have in mind, and I think I'm going to let you guys know, but not quite yet. Maybe you guys can guess. But nevertheless, we got to make some cuts in here because I want that LED strip to go all the way around. So the other thing I got to figure out is exactly how I'm powering these LEDs. If I'm going to use the LiPo, which would make it easy to, remove the battery, obviously, because it's already in the, it's already a place where you can remove it. The only problem is you have to have a buck converter, or you have to bring the voltage down from that, and I have to make sure it'll work with the LED strips that I'm going to use. There's a lot to figure out with the LEDs, so that is something I got to do, and then hopefully I can figure out if I can dye these flywheels, which I'm going to try to do in this video at some point. So lots to do, lots to figure out. Let's get to it. Okay, you guys, so I got that thing cut out literally perfect, and then I put some epoxy sculpt back in there, kind of creating a mold for this to sit in. Sometimes I use a screw port to lock it in, which is an awesome way to do this, but there's literally no way to get to that, so that really wasn't an option here. So I felt like this was the next best thing to do. So hopefully this little mold will hold it in, and I can probably put a little hot glue in there to even hold it better into place. You know, hot glue is okay to use in circumstances like this, and I would recommend it to some sort of permanent adhesive, because if this fails or you need to remove this, you can do so somewhat easily with hot glue. Getting it in there with the wires is a little difficult right now, but it's in there. It's not perfectly placed. I may put some sort of back plate on there to kind of push it up and keep it in place just to make it easier to install. We'll see. Hot glue will be the, a definite option, but if I can do something better than that, I'll definitely go for it. But that looks pretty good. And I definitely think you just got to take your time with something like this. Just, cut it out with the Dremel carefully, but don't go all the way to your lines, and then use your files, your microfiles to go get that perfect, and just keep testing and checking. Get your width set first, and then go for your depth, and then just really make sure you get those corners nice and clean with like a square or a triangle file. So that's how I did that, and it worked out pretty well. And the other thing I worked on off camera is I created a little M-lock template to put right here. Actually, it goes like this. So then I can cut that out and get this to lock on nice and clean, in theory. Hopefully, we'll see. We might have to do a little modification inside the shell to make sure this works properly, but I'm hoping it will work without too much trouble. And I think I'm just going to go for this, you guys. I haven't figured out if I can get these anodized or not. I know I can get them anodized. It's just whether I can do it affordably or if I need to do it myself. That is an option. I could probably figure out a setup to do myself. I just don't have that set up right now. So if this doesn't happen by the deadline, it's not a huge deal. This can obviously happen afterwards and not be, a big deal. But we need to get these slots locked in first. And I think it's just going to really be a nice little touch of color if we can get that done. And I think it'll really add to the blaster in the end. So, and make this thing a little more tactical. And you know what? I think in homage to Coop, I think that'll be a cool thing, because Coop is, as far as I know, the original one to do an integration similar to this. Obviously, I've done things quite a bit differently, and I think he'd be proud of this one. So, in homage to Coop, I think we'll add some tactics and add a little Picatinny rails on the side there. All right, we got that thing mounted. I didn't do the front yet, but I probably will do so just for security purposes. It honestly could be fine, I think, without it, because it's M-lock there now, basically. So that's pretty cool. We'll go ahead and trace a little dot here for where we're going to drill at. But it did take a little doing. It has to be literally right in between those teeth, so I got to make sure I have that position correctly on the other side before I do that side. And yeah, we had to remove a little bit of the plastic in there, but no worries. But it also looks pretty good without it even. It's basically got an M-lock slot there now, so that's pretty sweet. And we'll probably try to go ahead and do that on the other side. All right, Picatinny rails are mounted, and I honestly am very happy with that choice. I think that turned out awesome. They're locked on there really solid, and it's just a perfect place for them. And I think it'll add a little bit, especially to this side, once we figure out how to anodize these things. All in all, I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. We are moving right along, and I have big plans for this stock. I got some things coming in the mail. to do the LEDs here. So hopefully, not sure when that is going to arrive, but hopefully soon. But I think we're getting close to paint. I just need to kind of go over a few little things. I think we're getting close, guys. I'm excited. Now we just need some good weather. All right, well, we've made an absolute mess and we've done a lot of sanding. Went ahead and basically glazed and spot puttied this entire thing and then sanded it down. For the most part, I had to touch up a few more areas on this one that I'm waiting to cure, and then I'll hit that some more. I'll have to give this thing a complete wash again because it is very dusty and messy. Definitely important to get your blaster very clean before applying primer or base coat or clear coat. So we will be doing that. I did paint the back side of this, inside of it, to get it black, and then taped off the areas that I kind of want to keep black. And then I also taped off all the bosses on both sides, the screw ports, so we can actually hopefully assemble this thing fairly easily when we've got it finished. So that's kind of important to do. It's something that I've been doing with my blasters for some time, and it's really helped. But I usually don't Bondo and spot putty at this point. I usually try to get the blaster all one color, either with a vinyl dye or a primer. Sandable primer is kind of what I've been going with more these days. And because I couldn't do that because of weather, I went ahead and did this now. And I think I just created a lot more work for myself than really necessary. I mean, there really was just a few spots that really needed it. And it's just hard to know that at this point. It's easier to be able to tell where your imperfections are when it's all one color. But it's kind of a good thing that there wasn't that much that was necessary. More on this side, especially if you wanted to get this perfectly flat. There's just a few slightly low areas, but even that I don't think would be super noticeable, you know, but we're getting it as perfect as possible. It's coming along, and I'm really happy with how this is going. We have had a few change of plans with the metal parts. Anodizing does not seem to be an option because of the color I'm going for, which is, of course, the fluorescent yellow, or as close to that as possible. Really, if you went with the anodizing route, it was going to be more gold, and that just wasn't going to look right. And it was going to be very expensive. I think like $160+ minimum. So we've gone a different route, and I think I'm going to save that for the next video to let you know what we did. But I have sent those to a shop here in town, and they are working on those. They did say it was about a 2-week lead time, so hopefully it's not too much longer than that. So look forward to seeing how those turn out. It's something I've never done before. And you know what? If you guys start following me on Instagram, I'll post a picture of kind of what we ended up doing at some point this week. And yeah, I like to post little sneak peeks of things, especially on Instagram. That's kind of where I post most of my stuff. So definitely follow me on there. That link is always in the description. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching again. We are moving along. Lots of work to be done still. And this is the probably the most stressful part, because this is where there's really no point of return once you start laying down paint. So hopefully we get some good weather and we can do that here in the next week or two. So yeah, definitely smash that like button, subscribe if you're not, ring the bell for notifications. And as always, guys, peace out.